Welcome to AppleiPodParts.com's strip down and replacement of a screen on an iPhone 5S. I'm Neil Barker, and based on my colleague here, Damien, will be doing the guide, I'll be doing the voiceover, and hopefully giving you all of the information you need to do the job correctly and safely. So here we are, we've got a 5S, smash top left, the LCD's gone as well, you can see there. The LCD is all stripped and has failed. There's a bit of an ink mark on there as well. So needs a new screen replacement. Don't be fooled into thinking you can just get the glass. A lot of eBayers sell the glass. Oh yeah, I can get the glass screen for £6 and you're charging X, Y and Z. You know, you can't do it. You'll try, you get the glass, you'll try and strip the LCD off your screen, you'll find out it's impossible, and you'd have wasted £6-7 on a part you can't use. It's a con. So you need the full assembly. So here's the Disassembly. Obviously you can see there that the Disassembly is the best tool in the world. I swear by it. We all use them, and we helped them develop it. A nice little pair of tweezers there for the little screws to pick them up. Professional level sort of torque screwdriver, just the fact that it's metallic, and a Phillips screwdriver there. All of these tools you can get on AppleiPodParts.com. The world famous spudger. It's just good for lifting connectors. It's plastic, so it's non-conductive, and it's quite handy. It's quite soft. And a screw separator tray there. You can get that on our site as well. It just helps you compartmentalise all your screws, keep them in one place, stop you losing them. It's brilliant, and again you can get it on our site, as can you get all the parts, guidance videos, and obviously we're monitoring a little bit closely now the YouTube channel. We're trying to keep up with videos, so you can always ask us questions. Straight in with the two screws at the bottom, two torque style pencil over screws at the bottom, and they come out quite easily, and we put them in the screw separator tray. You can either use the suction cup if you want on this, or the Disassembly is narrow. It's very sort of easy to get into. Just watch the cables of the home button. Do this extremely gently. Damien's he does hundreds a week, so he knows what he's doing. But just be very careful not to put it too far. And while you're doing this, obviously the difference between all the other models and this one is that fingerprint home button is joined to the board at the bottom. So do not open it too far. As you can see where his finger is, there's a cable there. There you go. Good view of the cable. Pull that too far, you're screwed. Right, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to freeze frame that here. And this is something that I really need you to look at for me. You see those two metal lugs from the screen that are from the left to right. Now, they've got the bottom lug. Just beneath that, there's like two silver dots and a silver line. That is a metal clip that sits over the home button cable. Now, I can't emphasise that. I want you to take a look at this and obviously watch the next clip as my colleague removes it really carefully, because it's all about the fingerprint button on this one and how careful you need to be. So watch these next few seconds of a video a good few times to make sure you're happy and you're au fait with exactly how that metal bracket needs to be released off of the home button cable flex connector, and then how you release the connector itself, because this is key. I don't want you damaging this cable, and yeah, so rewatch it a few times, make sure you're happy before you're anywhere near attempting this. It's quite straightforward, but it takes a little bit of care. We do the home buttons and the cables, however, you will find out that you cannot get the fingerprint working again. Nobody can, it's impossible. They're pre-programmed to the phone, even though you replace the home button with an assembly that, you know, you'll never get the fingerprint working again. It's a bit poo, but trick is not to damage that cable. So there's a little bracket there. Obviously we remove that. The home button is now disconnected. It disconnects from the board, and you've got these 4 screws on this plate that we're going to remove without dropping the screwdriver. Sorry about that. These screws come out. One of them, for some reason, tends not to be magnetic, so we use the tweezers on that one, and the others come out without a problem. So while this plate's removed, obviously be cautious about how you're doing this. Just take your time, really. You know, if you have to force anything, this is what I always say on my guides, if you have to force anything, then it's wrong. There's something wrong. So this bracket lifts off. Again, don't go too far in, but it just gently lifts off. Don't force it. And you expose the cables for the screen. There's 3 cables. You have one for the LCD, one for the Digitizer, and one for the camera proxy sensor. And they just lift up using a non-metallic tool, just so you don't short anything out. And we're just going to lift each of the connectors as gently as you can from the corner. Don't steam in, you'll end up tearing off resistors and all sorts. Just be extremely careful. And then you're left with the screen assembly. Obviously there's parts on here that we're going to transfer over. It looks a little bit like the 3G 3GS is used to, but you can't take the LCD off. So we're going to first take this shield off that holds the earpiece in. I believe there's a couple of screws. They go in our little screw organizer tray there. Keep them separately. 2 screws, and this little bracket lifts off. It doesn't tend to be clipped in. Okay, 3rd screw there. Doesn't tend to be clipped in. It just kind of sits over the earpiece. That lifts off, and the earpiece should come away with it. And what you'll find is the earpiece is kind of sprung loaded. So just mind for anything that's going to spring out on you and disappear. Obviously, yeah, it's kind of tucked in there. You just got to release that kind of clip from underneath the frame. It kind of clips in underneath the sort of plastic screen frame. My colleagues are making a slight meal of it, but it does come away. And like I say, you don't want to just force it, so you might as well take your time. There's the earpiece, and that comes off. And like I say, it's just held there by the frame with a couple of contacts. And then we're going to remove the LCD protector shield with 2 screws on one side and 3 on the other. We've already removed the top screw. That's the one that was next to the earpiece bracket, so that's come out. And these screws come out without a problem. They're quite shallow, and they all get stuck to the screwdriver like that. Now, one thing we've got one down the bottom here as well. We need to remove by the home button. All the time being really cautious. How about careful and cautious? Yeah, I wish I could talk properly. Yeah, really cautious of that home button all the time, because as much as you can replace that if need be, you'll never get that home button working again, or the fingerprint, should I say. Home button bracket, or the home button assembly, is held in by this metal plate. So 2 screws out of there. Put those in the little tray. And this plate just kind of lifts away. Again, all the tools, all the parts, AppleiPodParts.com, all the information as well. If you need help, on our website there's a little contact us red link on the left hand side running down the page. Just click on that, send us a message, and we're pretty good at getting back to us. As many as we get hundreds of messages a day, and we try and reply to all of them. Bear with us, but we're here to help and not just sell parts. So there you go, that bracket lifts off. All the time watching out for any potential cables being stuck down or anything like that. Being hyper aware of not breaking anything. What you have, the home button has a rubber seal all the way around. You've just got to gently lift that off, and there it is. That's the home button itself. Amazing piece of kit. I mean, that's a fingerprint detector. That's crazy. Say that 5 years ago. It's just absolutely crazy. So I know I'm rambling, but that's what I do. So we're going to lift the plate, and that comes away quite easily. Apart from this sort of stuck down strip at the top. Now, you've got a couple of ways you can tackle this. Just here, where you can see where that is stuck down, you can either lift the whole cable assembly with that plate, or you can, which is the route that we're going down here. And to be honest, it's the safer one. And what you need to do is get under this cable, and this is the proxy cable with the camera. This detects your ear. Like the infrared sensor, it detects your ear when you hold the phone up to your ear when you're on a call and blacks it out. And you need to gently lift this away from the frame. This cable will come away, and what we're doing is obviously we're bringing this with the plate. You could try and take that big black plastic, that big black square off the plate. It just stuck down, but to be perfectly honest, you might as well keep it in one piece if you can. Again, my colleague here, he does so many of these a week. He knows what he's doing. It may look like he's being quite rough and going straight in, and he is because he knows what he's doing and he does so many. I would air caution for you guys. I mean, really do take your time. I can't emphasise that enough. It will just save you money in the long run. So there you go. You have the frame and the cable assembly all from one go. In my opinion, this is the best way. It's a little bit quicker, but you save tearing the cable. So we put that to one side, and we're actually going to transfer all these there's a little black plastic clip there. We're going to transfer all these bits over, mainly because it's prudent to. As I always say, if you're following my videos, you'll say that I do say a lot. If Apple put it in there, it's there for a reason. So don't leave anything out.
That goes on there.
So that's the surround for the little IR proxy sensor. So obviously my colleague here has put it directly on the sensor instead of trying to put it on the new screen. With that in place, we can discard the old screen. Some screens you might need to carry over the little plastic camera surround. Some screens come with it on. Earpiece mesh is another one to look out for. Our screens, most of our screens come with the sort of little bits and bobs. The stock does vary depending on the sources. We aim to get only the best screens in and only the best screens out. So some of them have, some of them haven't. You might have to transfer the odd bit of part on. To be honest, that's the nature of the game. Apple don't sell parts. They never will do. They never have done. The supply that we get is the best we can. And yeah, sometimes you need a little bit of extra legwork to make sure everything's spot on. So obviously, looking at the screen that we've got out of stock, we're going to slid the frame straight on. It's quite simple. And then the cable, what we're going to do is make sure that the camera is located. It'll only go in one way. So the camera kind of pushes into its little, and you'll see there, little clear plastic locator. You push that down, and then obviously gently with your thumb, it'll kind of find its own way home, really. It's all pre-fitted. It's been on a screen for a certain amount of time, so it should fit straight onto the new screen in relatively same fashion. Just make sure that it's all stuck down. It's just gently pushing it all home. Again, if you have to force it, there's something wrong. Don't force it. So there you go. There's the screen ready to be screwed down. We're going to put the screws in the frame and just kind of build it up. Here's the earpiece as well. That sits on top of the assembly. It's quite a cute little earpiece actually, little sprung loaded, held in by this, and that can be an offender if you've got crackly, if you've got crackly noise on your earpiece or anything like that. We've seen a fair few of those as well. As we always say, obviously all the screws tend to be different lengths and sometimes different materials. So it's always worth, and this is what the screw separator tray is good for. We've got ice screws as well from the same people that do Disassembly, and they're pretty cool. They're even, they're really good for keeping all the screws separate and telling you where they need to go. Invaluable. It's nothing worse than laying your screws out, knocking the table, and they're all on the floor. It's the worst. This little bracket gets screwed down. To be honest, how you put this frame together is kind of up to you. What screws you put in, whether you put the screws down the side of the LCD shield or with the earpiece. This third screw, goes into the top frame. All quite nicely. They all need nipping up. Don't need it over tight and stuff, but certainly don't want anything coming loose in there. Again, obviously, I'm Neil Barker, and obviously trying to narrate most of these videos. Obviously, every bit of feedback you can is helpful. We're only doing it to try and help, obviously sell parts and tools, but primarily we're here to help. And I've been in. This is what all started out. I was in your position one day, needing a part for an iPod. Nobody did it. Nobody knew how to do it. So off we started. That little bracket there you see with the earpiece bracket, it kind of tucks under the frame. To be honest, you do that when you fit the bracket down. It kind of hooks in and then it sits down. That's probably the best one for that one. Home button assembly here drops in place. Again, kind of finds its own way home. Sits in place. I'd look around the front to make sure it's level. There's nothing worse than a wonky home button. And then the little bracket sits on top. And again, screws down nice and gently on those 2 points there. It's a neat little assembly. We do the part assemblies, we do the full assemblies as well that come with all this stuff on it. But as I said, 4S is a bit of dodgy ground. It's the home button kind of clips into the board just like everything else that you see Apple-wise. So you can lift that, but like I say, last thing you want to do is tear the screen off and that cable tears, because you're into a bit of pain there, and your fingerprint sensor will never work, even if you do get a home button working, or an assembly with a home button. Apple obviously pre-program every phone to that sensor. So yeah, it's a bit like that. So the screws go in. I don't really want to speed this video up really. I don't fearful of missing anything. I'd rather you sit. If you can speed it up, hey, you can fast forward. You can do what you like. Turn it off. If you hate my voice, don't listen to me again. But I'd rather let this video take its course. It's not hugely long, and I'd rather ramble over it just in case, just so that you can catch every bit of detail. The cutscenes in this video are probably only for toilet breaks or whatever. I really don't miss anything out, and yeah, I hope you don't too. And again, obviously, always watch these videos before you have a go at yourself. Yeah, tools and parts, AppleiPodParts.com. There's a discount code, I believe, on YouTube as well, underneath this video, that'll allow you a little bit of money off. So there you go, new phone assembly, new screen ready to go on. Just have a quick look underneath it, make sure the home button feels nice, it's all in place, sat down, and it clicks. Sometimes they jam up as you screw them in. They just need a bit of realigning. So we've got the phone, we've got the screen ready, and you've got the 3 cables there. We bend them where they should bend. Never bend them at the sort of an edge of an LCD screen or anything like that. But we kind of pre-bend them. First cable goes down. All you do is you kind of rest your finger over the top, and it finds its own way home. And then all you do is you just want a satisfying little click as you put your finger down and pressure it. Well, my colleague's so proficient that he whooped those cables into place in no time, and obviously does so many of them. So you might have to a bit of a rewind and re-look at those, maybe slow it down a bit. Yeah, those they can only go one way. All I can say is, a nice clunk when you put your finger down on each connector. I tend to follow it with a little bit of a spudger edge back and just make sure they are firmly down all the way across the little connectors. And then you go in with these 4 screws on top of the plate, all the time holding the screen vertical. You don't want to hold it back on itself, because the chances are you're going to lift a connector without realising it, and then you'll put the screen down and it won't work properly, half the digitizer will work, so on and so forth. So it's all about taking your time, and yeah, just taking your time. Like I said, these guys do it day in, day out, and yeah, so while this plate goes down, I just remind you, AppleiPodParts.com, we ship worldwide. We ship same day, same working day, if ordered before a certain time, if not next day, and it's really pretty quick. And all our parts come with a 12 months warranty, which is huge. Nobody else offers that at all. We don't cover screens for accidental physical damage, because that would just be dumb and we'd be out of business in no time. But performance warranty covers things like the performance of the part. So if it stops swiping, or get dead pixels, a certain amount of those, and things like that. So we do our best, and we've got a quite a good service as far as returns policy and things like that concerned. We've noticed recently that a lot of our competitors are kind of dropping by the wayside, going out of business, or having ridiculous returns policies where they don't accept any returns at all, and this, that, and the other. And what it is, to be honest, they're buying cheap and they're selling cheap, and and it's crap, and that the stuff that they sell is rubbish. It really is. So here we go. Obviously, the screen tucks in at the top first, and then what we have here is you've got to hold it at a certain angle, really being careful, make sure you've got a good grip of it. And you'll see there that you have to get in there, and it's pretty tricky. And the little home button cable sits in there, clips in, a nice little firm click as well. And then this little bracket, which is proving quite tricky, sits in over the top, and it's a bit like a clip, just to make sure that doesn't ping off if you sort of drop your phone or anything like that. And that clips in nicely. So as you put that down, I'll give it a quick test before you do properly sit the screen down. And the difference between these is the home button should work even with the screen lifted, whereas all the others don't, because they rely on a contact, whereas this is a cable. So that's a bonus. You can test everything with it lifted. So power it on, we can see the screen power up. Quite happy that it's kind of connected. And then we'll push the screen down. I mean, it's no biggie to lift the screen back out again. It's not a one-way trip. So we just kind of sit it in place, push down all the sides as well, because they're all clipped in. Again, you don't need to force it, but you need a little bit of pressure on it. Working your way around, making sure it's all seated in properly. And yeah, they fit quite snugly. It's a tremendous piece of kit, really is. And finally, the last two pentalobe screws go in. And these are the screws. I could geek on ages about parts and engineering and stuff, but even these screws are a work of art. They really are. They've got a nice little sort of shank on them, and they're just tremendous. Really good. Sound like an Apple fanboy? Probably because I am. So there you go. Obviously, 5S screen, non-smashed, all good to go, like new. Give it a bit of a wipe down, and like I say, don't fall into the trap where eBay sellers are selling glass for £3 or £4 or £5 or £6. It is an absolute waste of money, a con, nothing short of, and yeah, it really is daft. And unfortunately, they just take the mickey with it, really. So there you go, the little charging icon. This is going to take a little while to charge up. Cut to the cutscene, and yeah, one screen replacement for the iPhone 5S done. Like I said, watch out for the home button. Definitely looking out for that. All the parts and tools, AppleiPodParts.com. I'm Neil Barker, and I really do hope that you've enjoyed the guide and it's useful to you. Rate our channel, subscribe to our channel, and any technical issues or anything like that, feel free to use our website and the contact us link, and we'll do our best to reply. Thank you very much.